Hello, and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of January 9th. I'm Terry Morrow, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Catherine and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics, because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week, we continued with our brothers and sisters series watch and checked out a newish movie that also has a big cast full of familiar faces, and that is, of course, Glass Onion, number 1 on Netflix right now, as we speak. Still. And, certainly quite the cast of recognizable folks. Daniel Craig, of course, returning as the detective Benoit Blanc from Knives Out. Mm-hmm. And Edward Norton is a tech billionaire who brings everybody together on his Greek island. And, the Clue game cast of characters include, Catherine Hahn, who we remember fondly from Parks and Rec and other things. Leslie Odom Jr. from Hamilton. Kate Hudson, still beloved to me from Almost Famous, but of course has done many other things. And Dave Bautista, Janelle Monáe, fantastic performance.
Yes.
Well, not really two different people so much as one person imitating somebody else.
Right.
But spoiler, I shouldn't say.
Yes. Those are the top build, and then the cameos are a delight. They are wonderful.
Yeah, I watched this with my husband, and he's like, Is that Hugh Grant? Yep. I totally missed all the celebrities who were on the
Zoom call
with him, and I read an article that said, here's all the cameos you missed, and I went back and watched it, and sure enough, he was playing some game with Angela Lansbury, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Natasha Lyonne, and Stephen Sondheim.
Yes, it was this game called Among Us that at the beginning of the pandemic was
a big
popular.
Thing. I had no frame of reference for that, but I did the funny thing is when I watched it the first time, the only person I recognized was Natasha Lyonne, who's probably the least famous of the four. But
well, Stephen Sondheim, I don't know that people are familiar with his face, So
yeah, I was probably doing the thing where I'm doing something else while I'm watching something, so I'm not constantly staring at the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's fun. And apparently Ethan Hawke was the guy who was shooting stuff in people's throats when they came to the island.
Ethan Hawke had a scene that was about this, probably shorter than what Hugh Grant had.
That's right.
It was very brief as well.
Hugh Grant at least got a close-up.
Yes. Yeah, Ethan Hawke was seen in profile almost the entire time. So
I totally did not notice it was him. Mm-hmm. And then Serena Williams was on a screen offering to work out with them or something.
Yes, lead a workout. Yep. Okay, you don't want to? It's your money.
This is one of those movies where you feel like everybody involved in it was having a good time.
And they're
fun to just call up these people and say, hey, would you like to be on a Zoom screen?
Right. Or a Greek island.
Yeah. I really wonder. I saw something going by on social media that was showing all the CGI in that the big room that they were all in and what it really looked like and how they added the details and stuff. I really wonder what that set actually was.
Right.
It's so spectacular looking. Everything about it is so spectacular looking, and it's probably all fake.
Well, I think if you watch the credits, they were in Greece and in, I think, Croatia or some other Mediterranean place. So they did have some time that they were spending in some exotic place. Yes. So they weren't entirely on a back lot somewhere.
These days they probably could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Here, come into this green screen room.
Yeah.
act, please.
Right. But they didn't have to do that.
Yeah. So how did this... The structure of this was a little odd. Because, and again, if you haven't watched it, maybe you don't want to listen to this because I'm bad about not saying spoilers. And you can't really talk about it very much without revealing some stuff.
Right.
But I also feel like I had read about some stuff beforehand. And I still enjoyed it. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
basically...
was a little weird. It's like halfway through, it kind of backtracked.
Right.
And then caught back up. Is that something that was a part of Knives Out, too?
I believe. Now it's been a little bit.
Because usually the detective will give his conclusions at the end, and that's when you get all the flashbacks.
Right.
And this sort of just stopped in the middle and gave
started
some important
giving
information.
Right.
And then went forward and then stopped again and gave some, backtracked a little bit. So that was interesting. But it kept it from being like you're figuring it out from the beginning to the end. Mm-hmm. Like at one point, a certain person was apparently shot, and I was pretty sure that was fake. But then we find out more about it.
Yes. Yes, I turned to my son who was watching with me at the time and said, "We don't think she's really dead, do we?"
Because if so, the famous detective, basically got that person killed. And I didn't think they would want to be loading that on him. So that was pretty clearly a red herring. A literally red herring. And wow, seeing Jeremy Renner's super hot sauce on a week where Jeremy Renner was severely injured was a little weird.
Jeremy, he had a cameo that was only a name drop.
The label on a bottle of hot sauce. You got a close-up.
And same with Jared Leto was the kombucha purveyor.
Yes. Lots of cameos and name drops, but appropriate for this crowd and very fun. So, all the performances I thought were fun. Kate Hudson may be a little shrieky, but okay. And Catherine Hahn and Leslie Odom Jr. could have had more to do.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, and another cameo, Jackie Hoffman. Who we enjoyed so much in Only Murders in the Building. Yes. She played Dave Bautista's mother. And I'm going to my husband, she's
the woman from Only Murders in the Building. He's looking at me like, okay, fine.
Oh my gosh, she
was wonderful, though. She was hilarious.
Perfect.
Yes.
Just like, they were all trying to solve this big puzzle and this crazy like box that Miles the billionaire had sent them all, and she just kept on chiming in, "It's a stereogram. It's a compass." From across the room. She can't even see it.
Yes.
Oh, it was good.
She was always an enjoyable seasoning in whatever stew we are watching.
Right.
So, it was fun. It was very fun to watch. We wound up having to watch it over 2 nights because it's kind of long.
It is kind of long,
but you could totally drop it and pick it back up. Mm-hmm. It's not the kind of thing where it's so suspenseful and tightly plotted that you can't put it down. It's like, we'll reconvene tomorrow. It was fine.
Right.
But I did go back this morning and watch little parts of it to see if everything held up. And it did. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering about when we first saw the person we thought was one person opening the box. And then it turns out that it was a different person.
Right.
But hair was in a towel. So.
Yeah. The sort of timing that happened beforehand was a little confusing to me.
Yeah.
Because, all these random people get this invitation, which is this puzzle box, and
an obnoxiously intricate puzzle box.
Yeah. So,
which gives you a pretty good introduction to the character of the person who sent them.
Right. Who is this billionaire tech bro kind of guy played by Edward Norton.
Very well, actually.
Yeah, but so it's this elaborate thing, and it's an invitation to all these people to come to his Greek island, and it turns out that they're all friends from years before, because at first you're like, what do these people all have in common? They're friends from years before, they all go, but it's a question of why would this one person be invited?
Yes.
And also killed at the same time.
Right.
So that part I didn't get, but I just decided to not think about it. As we do from time to time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's possible that when sending out the invitation, the host felt there was a reason why that person would not be able to attend.
Right.
So it's just kind of for show. But
it wasn't.
It's hard to talk about this without spoiling, isn't it?
Just watch it. It's on Netflix. It's fun. It's like rated PG, if that. I mean, like, I watched it with my 17-year-old with no.
Yeah. Well, there is a couple of scenes. One scene that is seen twice with a different frame of reference. That is a little spicy,
but just a little.
Could be more so.
Right, could be a lot more so.
Yeah, but it's gorgeous to look at. The scripting is very fun. The performances are enjoyable by people you probably like from other things, and it's not going to make you work very hard.
No, because it'll go back and show you everything.
That's right. It's not good. Yeah, it's like you don't have to keep track of all the clues and figure stuff out, because they're going to stop every so often and say, hey, look at this.
We will show you.
It's less a puzzle box for you to figure out how to open than somebody showing you how they opened the puzzle box. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm tired most of the time, really. Just figure it out for me, will you? And that's fine. It's very enjoyable to just park yourself in front of and let it wash over you. Unless you're a big fan of the Mona Lisa, in which case there may be some.
Just leave it at that.
Isn't the Mona Lisa smaller than that? I seem to remember seeing it when I went to Europe and thinking, it's not that big.
Right.
Are you telling me that that's not the actual Mona Lisa they used in the movie, Catherine? They didn't borrow it from France for the set? No.
It was also a matter of perspective.
That's true. Anyway, we recommend.
Yeah.
And, watch it over a few nights. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It'll work. It'll be fine.
And I actually did.
Coming along, we can be pretty sure.
I did watch it a second time, just because we were going to be talking about it. And the first time I watched it, I wasn't watching it for that reason.
Yeah.
So I watched it again, and it was still fun, even though I knew what happened. So
I think it would be very rewatchable.
Yeah.
So, also continuously watchable is Brothers and Sisters, which I am watching for the second time. Catherine is watching for the first time. And this, we should have watched this one a few weeks ago.
That's right.
This was our holiday episode. In which Paige, all of a sudden, the title of the episode is Light the Lights, which, and Paige all of a sudden decides, hey, since Grandma's Jewish, which has that been previously established, but okay. And, that means you're Jewish, Mom. That means I'm Jewish. Let's do Jewish things. And, it develops that it's because she wants to not have diabetes, and she figures if she prays in all the different religions, maybe that will happen. But Nora, of course, being Nora, interprets a small child's interest in Judaism as, let's get the Torah over here. Come on, let's start reading things. Let's have some education. And really, she just wants a latke and to light a light.
Right.
At some point, somebody talks derisively about the power of fried dough to change your life, and I
would disagree.
I would disagree, yes. But... So that's plot one. Religion! Nora doesn't believe in it, but when given an opportunity, goes completely over the top with it.
Right.
Fine. And then plot number 2 was that the triumphant discovery of $30 million that was made last episode, turns out $10 million of it has to go to Holly. Mm-hmm. And... rather than just grit your teeth, turn it over, and make the best with your $20 million.
Your $20 million, exactly.
Yes. Sarah decides, let's just, cheat Holly out of her money and offer her a much smaller amount. And Holly, not being born yesterday, decides she's going to think about it and take her time. And you guys don't need this money right away, do you? It'll be fine. And so the company is once again in peril. And also, Uncle Saul has possibly, spoiled any chance he had with Holly, which, And so Nora goes over and talks to Holly, and they come to a sort of agreement that they were both important to William. They both had their role in his life. Maybe you could please let us have the money, Holly. So ultimately, Holly decides to let them buy her out for half of the money she's owed, plus a share on the company. A share on the company? Would a share on the company make any difference?
Or shares, maybe.
Shares. Yes, the equivalent in share. Well, the shares aren't worth very much.
I know. This is a... Why? Just take your money and
take your $10 million, woman.
Get
Come
away
on.
From these people.
Why would you want? So I think Sarah was doing it in the beginning to mess with Holly, and Holly's doing it at the end to mess with Sarah, and really both of you, if you would just let it be,
yep,
we would be done with this. But of course, Patricia Weddick wants some work, so, all right, we'll get you. You'll be in the family business now. Welcome, it's going under. And then we had 4 plots in this. The third was that everybody's afraid Kitty's going to get fired because of the thing she did with McAllister, where she tried to get him to help her by going easy on an interview, and then she admitted it, and apparently
everyone loved it.
Confession blew up on YouTube, and everybody loves it, and everybody wants the show to be just her. So instead of her getting fired, maybe Warren's going to get fired or just not picked up. And, in the end, Kitty decides she's got to go. That whole thing seemed, all right. I mean, I know that eventually Kitty has to move on because she has another job waiting, but that was kind of a weird way to
also
bring it about.
Being all sort of high and mighty about it, about her true calling or something.
Yeah.
The way she made it sound like to go work for a senator. I don't think so.
That whole plot line makes me think that the people who are writing this do not really understand how any of this works. But okay, maybe they're better at the family stuff. I don't know. But the fourth is that Kevin is trying to get Justin out of having to go to war, and they try one thing, and they try to get 3 months delay, and then they try to get him off altogether, and then they go to court, and it doesn't work out in their way, and a military guy very appropriately points out that the only time Justin has not been a druggie is when he was in the army, so maybe he should stay there. But they, in the end, some...
Brigadier General? Why was he there?
There were a lot of military people there to get this one dude back in the force.
I know.
Why is this really all they have to do?
Why do they want him
I could see if they were it was a 50 people banded together in a suit or something, but really, they want Justin that bad?
Right.
He must have been some kind of medic. Mm-hmm. But in the end, this Brigadier General comes up to them and says, hey, I had a brother too. You can have 6 months. So, conveniently,
Yes.
He's been delayed now till right at the end of the season.
Look at that.
So Dave Annable gets to be in all the episodes and then go to war over the break.
Over the hiatus. Mm-hmm.
But we're sure that's not why it happened. No. It was just the right thing to do.
Right.
Look how compassionate the military is.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they have Christmas, and now they have 6 months.
And Hanukkah.
6 months of anxiety. Yes, Christmas and Hanukkah.
Right.
So.
And also, like, this is my frequent refrain, but so this whole thing goes down with this giant party that Nora throws, as is her wont, for the first night of Hanukkah, and Paige is totally overwhelmed, but then Uncle Saul saves the day, and they light the candles, blah blah blah, and then a whole bunch more stuff happens in the show. Lots more plot, lots more action, blah blah blah. And we get to the end of the episode. It's night 2 of Hanukkah. There's 2 candles. And which they indicate just by showing the menorah in the window with 2 candles. Like, you could have easily put a few more candles in there.
That's right. These people get a lot done in a day.
They really do. Like, they throw together these parties. They go to court. They, confer with
dealings.
Yes. So it's too much for me.
Yes. They live life to the fullest each day.
Right.
But they are at least following through on the diabetes plotline with Paige.
Right.
That's something. And what's the little brother's name?
Cooper. That little actor doesn't have a lot of range, but if they give him a scene, he can sell it. You believe that his parents are just about to tear their hair out with him. Every time. Do kids today still do Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, Robin Laid an Egg? I mean,
that was a hot hit when I was a kid. I'm not sure they're doing it now.
If they are, they're learning it from an adult.
That's true. Possibly just like Joe taught Paige the racy hula song. Maybe he taught that to Cooper. Because I don't think he's picking that up at preschool. But it was a nice little hit of nostalgia for me.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's a little fun little amusement from time to time.
Yes, a little dash of seasoning.
Yes, when used sparingly, as they say.
Right. I assume that with the spare moments in her day, Sarah is working on Gabe's plate.
Yes, we better
Just
see
didn't
a
have
plate
time to show it because there was so much else to do. But
and Gabe is not invited for any of this holiday stuff.
Christmaka.
Yes, maybe they have him over for Festivus, I guess, so that he can air his grievances.
Yes, including where's my
plate?
Sam Menor with his family.
Hand it over.
I'm just going to assume that this is all happening in the background, and it just didn't make it to the screen.
Yes.
Assuming that boy has a plate by now. So I don't have to stay up late worrying about him.
That's right.
And, because my brain works this way, when Nora brought over a dessert to Holly, which, whatever else, Holly, take the dessert. Grab the dessert first and then tell her you don't want to have anything to do with her because it's dessert. It was on a regular plate. Did she give Holly something on a regular plate that she's now going to have to go back and get that plate?
Maybe it was Holly's special plate with her initials on it.
Maybe. Wouldn't that be fun? Because she's a member of the family now. Does it say HH or does it say something ruder? We're not sure. But, I enjoy all the Rebecca must never know about this. We must never involve Rebecca. So I'm sure Rebecca's not going to be on this show at all, right?
Yeah,
She's never come
right. We'll never see that.
I believe they were frantically casting her at this point. But, I'm sure she just will never be involved.
She lives in New York like Kitty.
Yeah. Look what happened to Kitty when she moved out here.
Right, when she came back.
Stay away, girl. Stay away. Nothing good can come of this.
That's right.
Oh, well. Well, let's see. So I guess, all right, so this was Season 1, Episode 10. Next week, we will watch Season 1, Episode 11 called Family Day. Haven't all of these been Family Day?
Once again, they're titling.
This is possibly Family Day at a place where Justin is. And, man, what fodder for the therapists at a rehab facility.
Now I get it.
The walkers be. Holy cow. This should be fun.
I understand much more now.
Yes. You want to just stay here, son? You can just stay here forever. Go out, take a drink, come back in. It'll be fine. Your family's got money. They can keep you here. Oh, well. And then we are also going to watch a movie called The Lost City. Tell us about this movie, Catherine.
So this is, well, first of all, it's streaming on Amazon Prime, and it stars Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. She is a romance novelist, and he is the cover model for her books. And, you know, they get lost in the jungle together for reasons. And, you know, hijinks ensue, as they say. I had, you know, heard about this on and off, and I'd even seen the trailer. Like, I feel like they played it on regular TV, maybe.
Huh.
Because there's this scene where they're in this tiny car for some reason in the jungle, and it gets pushed over a cliff. Not with them in it. Anyway, and I was reminded of this. Linda Holmes, the host of Pop Culture Happy Hour, or one of the hosts of Pop Culture Happy Hour podcast on NPR, and also just a general pop culture specialist over there. She does an annual list of 50 wonderful things from the year, and so her 2022 edition mentioned The Lost City, and she says, to connect this with something we have already discussed, even though there was a George Clooney, Julia Roberts romantic comedy this year, my vote for the most successful and classic example of the form is The Lost City. She says that Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum have spectacular chemistry, and it's a genuinely terrific film that burbles with star power and uses its cast perfectly.
All right.
Sounds like a good time.
And so with that, we have come to the end of our round 2 for today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Catherine.
Bye, Terry.
Goodbye, everybody.